These are not challenges confined by borders. These are the shared responsibilities of international community. As the delegates of this modern United Nations, you represent the world's commitment to dialogue, understanding, and collective action.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good morning to all of you from the family of Xain International School, Anantnag. On behalf of organizing committee, it is my great honor and pleasure to warmly welcome you to this Model United Nations session on the theme Unemployment, a challenge to developing countries.
क्योंकि कश्मीर में सबसे पहले when we talk about this unemployment problem, it is not only serious, it is tsunami of unemployment right now in your J&K state. And in that context, if we go by the government figure, it is round about 18% of the population, youth population, are unemployed. And in that context, why it is unemployment problem in J&K? Not at the national level and not at the global I am talking about. We have 11 universities and more than 350 colleges in the J&K. And on an average, thousands of students are getting graduated. And as per the recent newspaper clippings report, government claims that we have 3,700 posts vacant. How many? And on the other side, how many graduates are coming out of the 11 universities? How many graduates are coming out of the 350 colleges? It's a big problem right now with the J&K. And because of this, we also see one of the most social consequences of this unemployment, drugs. That is the one part, late marriage. Another part, and gender equity ratio, which recently is a crisis right now in the whole India, in J&K itself. Now, in that context, we have to think about why this problem is there and how we can solve this problem.
The Department of Social Science, headed under the leadership of Dr. Riyaz Ahmed Parab, organizer in association in collaboration with Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development, Islamic University of Science and Technology. Today's discussion offers a global platform where young minds come together to share their insights, express their perspectives, and explore creative solutions to one of the pressing challenges of the nation faced by the emerging nations, unemployment. Here at Xain International School, we believe in nurturing our students to become great thinkers, communicators, and learners. And this session beautifully embodies that vision, promoting dialogue, deepening understanding, and inspiring innovative thinking beyond the classroom walls.
Today's discussion on unemployment, a challenge to developing countries. Today's agenda is a very heart of global justice, equity, and human dignity. Unemployment is not merely a statistic, it's a human story. It's a story of young graduates searching endlessly for opportunities, displaced by technology or economic shocks. Of families struggling to meet their basic needs despite their tireless efforts. It's in a sense the story of unrealized human potential. Excellencies in developing nations, unemployment is not an isolated challenge. It's spread into with poverty, inequality, lack of education, inadequate infrastructure, and weak governance. When one sector falters, it may be industry, agriculture, or education. The ripple effects reach to every corner of the society. The challenge is not simply to create jobs, but to create decent work, where security, fair wage, and dignity is ensured.
Today, after the decades of reform, education and enterprise, the picture has changed, but the challenge endures. 1.4 billion
resolve to transform our population into great strength. Unemployment is not really an economic status. It's the question of dignity, equality, and justice. For every young person without a job, a nation loses not just income, but imagination, creativity, and potential. Honorable Chairperson, when India achieved independence in 1947, the unemployment rate was 5.1%, the lowest in 6 years.
Sources of economic and GDP growth, but yet youth are still jobless in your country. Is your growth allergic to hiring or
to represent my nation's wealth and to engage in constructive dialogue to find solutions? Through this address, I hope to foster meaningful dialogue, highlight the urgent need for the innovative strategies, and encourage the elaborate efforts to build a resilient and inclusive workforce for the people of South Korea. Thank you.
These periods while we faced some sort of, economic recession and inflation in our nation. That was the reason of unemployment in our nation. But we have tackled all of these three situations in unemployment, and our employment rate has increased after every scandal, after every recession. And we prove that we do not surrender before these problems. We actually invest in the human capital.
Stand here on the behalf of Egypt in this United Nations-style debate on unemployment and challenges to developing countries. As delegates, we carry not only your nation's flag, but its hopes. Hopes of transforming educated youth into empowered citizens through meaningful opportunities. We look forward to a discussion that is thoughtful, solution-driven, and worthy of the vision our generation holds for a more equitable world. Economic sectors and the dominance of informal employment. Nearly 55% of the Egyptians work without contracts or social protection. And like many developing countries, global inflation, rising input costs, and regional instability further affects Egypt's ability to generate stable employment. Honorable delegates, these challenges are real, but Egypt is a nation that refuses to be defined by its difficulties.
Let us begin by looking at the current situation in Russia. Earlier, Russia focused on 13.2% of unemployment in their country. Today, Russia maintains one of the lowest unemployment rates globally, standing at around 2.1% according to August 2025. This reflects the strength of our national programs, the resilience of our workforce, and our focus on the stable economic development. However, even with such progress,
Turkey records one of the widest tertiary levels of skill gaps among the OECD countries. Demographic pressure, including the regional disparities between the developed West and the least industrialized East, further worsen this issue. To address these issues, Turkey has implemented a national employment strategy to foster productive, inclusive, and sustainable jobs, and bring down the unemployment rate to 7.4% by the year 2026.
who are willing to get a job are not able to get one? Well, the fact is that unemployment is a major economic and social issue. Unemployment is very high rates in developing countries, and the reason is quite clear because of the fact that job creations are very low. Well, my dear delegates, the fact is that economists often refer to Occam's law to show an inverse relationship between the GDP growth and the unemployment rates. We know that GDP refers to the overall production of goods and services. So when the overall production of goods is more, that means the industries need more workers and the employment rate increases accordingly.
Republic of China, in this distinguished assembly, alongside my fellow delegate Abdul Basit. As the delegates for this session, we will present China's perspective on the global challenge of unemployment in developing nations, outline our strategies for inclusive growth, and engage constructively in pursuit of sustainable and cooperative solutions. China believes that every nation, regardless of its size and stage of development, possesses the potential to turn challenges into opportunities.
And distinguished delegates, I am Isla Farhad with my co-speaker Iram Hamid, and today we are representing the nation of Malaysia. Malaysia believes that the unemployment is a very huge issue which hinders the growth of all developing countries. The fact is that why is unemployment a huge issue in developing countries? The answer is pretty clear, because the job generation is way lower than the population growth. Malaysia believes in job creation and formalization of the informal sectors. Today, we are hopeful that we will be able to drive out meaningful solutions so that all of us in this assembly can talk it out and find various solutions.
Governance and imagination. Honorable Chair, decades ago, when our nation faced widespread unemployment, we discovered that solution was not only to create jobs, it was to create creators. When a Chinese villager with no formal education invented a bamboo bicycle that now sells worldwide, it taught us something priceless, that creativity is the new currency of development. China believes that the greatest investment a nation can make is not in industries but in individuals.
Technological change and international circumstances. Now moving to the causes of unemployment. Russia identifies a few key areas that require global attention. First, skills mismatch. Many workers do not yet have the modern technical or digital skills needed for today's industries. Second, regional inequality. Jobs are often concentrated in major cities, leaving rural populations with fewer opportunities. Third, external factors such as international sanctions and the ongoing effects of global political tensions have also slowed investment and business operations in some areas. And finally, demographic shifts, including an aging population and migration during times of conflict, have created workforce gaps in certain regions.
Unemployment is not just an economic issue. It is a social and human challenge that affects families, youth, and the very spirit of the development. According to the Central Agency for Public Mobilization and Statistics, CAPMAS, Egypt's unemployment rate stands at around 7.1% as of 2024. But behind this figure lies a deeper concern: youth unemployment. Where over 60% of the unemployment are between the ages of 15 and 29. Every year, nearly 9 lakh young Egyptians enter the labor market, filled with hope. Yet, job creation struggles to keep pace. One major reason is the mismatch between education and industrial needs. Many graduates possess academic degrees.
A land where the sun shines bright, but millions still wait for the dawn of opportunity. Unemployment here, delegates. It's not just a number in South Africa. It's the silent storm shaking the dreams of the youth. It's like a brave face of graduate holding a degree but not a job. It's like a mother who works day and night but still can't afford her child's fee. It's a boy who wants to build but has no tools to start. South Africa's unemployment rate stands among the highest in the world, around 33% all work and 45% among youth. We have the talent, we have the resources, which is wasted.
Well, Brazil, which is the largest country in South America itself, it has traveled through multiple phases. Phases of turbulence and phases of struggle, each phase revealing how deeply and resonating Brazil has itself gone. Well, starting ahead from COVID-19 itself, the COVID-19 had a very, very deep impact on Brazil's employment rate itself. Let me tell you, dear audience, the unemployment rate has reached almost 14.7%, which is the highest in the modern history during the COVID-19 time, which is a very fascinating thing to be heard right now. Moving ahead, the recovery programs which has been added to it, they have made certainly progress in the employment rate, but still there are many struggles which are being faced by the Brazilian country itself. However, the struggle is not over, because the youth unemployment in Brazil, it remains above 17%, and nearly 40% of the workers are employed informally.
South Korea is today recognized as a development and innovatory economy. Yet, unemployment remains one of our key social and economic concerns. Our overall unemployment rate stands about 2.5%, but the youth unemployment rate is highly 3 times greater than this. That means it is 7 to 10%, and is showing a serious gap between the education and the employment opportunities.
Not only this, also the labor force participation rate increases. There are certain causes which are responsible for the unemployment in South Korea. The first and the most important one is aging population.
Who were sharing some beautiful and profound ideas like skill development. As we know that we live in an age where one should not only have a degree, he should be having a skill as well. Like life skills we have, like anything, like he was quoting one of the examples of that Shemford cook. I don't remember exactly, but it was that 64-year-old man who at last when he tried to commit suicide.
सेंट जेन्स इंटरनेशनल स्कूल ने जो ये टॉपिक पर आज डिस्कशन करवाया था, विच इज़ रिलेटेड टू अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रॉब्लम, विच ये ग्लोबल प्रॉब्लम भी है और ये नेशनल प्रॉब्लम है और हमारी रीजनल प्रॉब्लम भी है. इन दैट कंटेक्स्ट I would first like to mention this St. Xain School that they have taken this initiative, क्योंकि आज जो हम बच्चों को एजुकेशन दे रहे हैं, लेकिन इस एजुकेशन के साथ साथ उनको हमें स्किल भी देना पड़ेगा सो दैट दे विल बिकम एम्प्लॉयबल, क्योंकि एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी तब तक नहीं आ जाएगी जब तक इनके पास स्किल होगा. तो ये एक अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम था अक्रॉस द साउथ कश्मीर और उसमें जो इनिशिएटिव सेंट जेन्स ने ले लिया है, दिस इज़ अ वेरी गुड इनिशिएटिव और हमें अपनी पेडागोजी एज पर द न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी चेंज करनी पड़ेगी, जहां पर हमें बच्चों को स्किल के साथ साथ एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग देनी पड़ेगी in terms of this teachings. So that is a very good thing for this society as well as for these students and also for all the whole जो stakeholders हैं, इसमें गवर्नमेंट भी है, प्राइवेट पार्टीज भी हैं और स्कूल के बच्चे भी हैं, सबको बेनिफिट मिल जाएगा. थैंक यू एंड मोर.